Surfer Ray here. Today I'm going to show you how I install my wax foundation onto my frames. I run all 7 5/8 inch supers. So one of the advantages of that is I can buy a piece of wax foundation for a regular deep, and I can cut 2 inches off of it and actually have one piece on the frame, and I have a starter strip also. So now out of one piece of wax I have enough for two frames. What I came up with is this little jig here to make that process go a little faster. So it's just a piece of plywood, a little emery board on top, and what I have here is that's about maybe 5/16 strip of wood on the back and the sides, and then about 2.5 the same width on the top, and that creates this nice little space here in the bottom. Now obviously from here to here is the exact width of, or maybe a little bit an eighth bigger than the sheet of wax, and then from here to here is actually 6.5 inches. So when I slide my wax foundation in here, I can take my sheetrock knife, hold it tight against the back of here, and run it across and slice it. Unfortunately, I didn't have any foundation without any wire in it, so I have to snip those. But what you're left with is, like I said earlier, you get this 6.5 inch and you get this 2 inch starter strip. So then I come over here and I came up with this thing in order to install my wax foundation. I'm using fishing line, 20-pound test, which I find is a little bit faster and has a few other advantages than wire. You know, I don't have to heat it up and melt it and have to deal with all that. And if I ever want to take it out of the frame, I can just cut it out. You know, like if I want to do cut comb. So here you have basically a 4x4 with a bolt that comes out of it, and the spool just sits on that. You don't have to be this fancy. I kind of made it really fancy. This is a washer from a battery terminal. You got a regular washer, and then you have a lock washer. And then I took this and I just, you know, I made a handle. You don't need to go quite like this, because really it just needs to spin. This is kind of critical. You need this little spring here to hold the string. Otherwise the string will fall down and get wrapped underneath here and it becomes a pain in the ass. So here I have some strips of wood nailed down onto this and glued, and it's the same size as a frame. Okay, so it fits over the back. This one is the same distance as the inside, so it pops right over. I rounded the edges so it's nice and easy for this to fall on, and then I added one more strip on top in order to keep it nice and level. So it sits down just like that, pops in and out easy. So what you do is you take your fishing line and you thread it through the frame. And of course I could adjust the tension with that if I need to, but like I said, you really don't need to adjust the tension as long as it spins freely. You want to make sure your holes are cleaned out of wood, because that makes it kind of a pain in the ass to get the line through. So you just run the nail through. Okay, once you get the lines through, I have a brad pusher, which really makes life a lot easier than trying to use a hammer to set these little brads. These are 5/8 brads. I stick them right near the hole where the string is on both ends. Drop them in about a quarter, halfway in. It's not that critical. Okay, then I take my line and I wrap it around like 3 times. Put that in. Okay, then I grab the middle one and pull it with a little tension as I do the same thing on the outside. Wrap it around 3 times. Bam. Cuts your ends off. And then what you do is you just flip it over. You drop your wax in. And then repeat the process with the lines again. The same exact thing you did on the other side. And what you're left with is, you know, a frame that, you know, the wax is in there very securely. Once they draw out the comb, if I ever wanted to make this cut comb, I could just cut these lines out like a suture and just pull them out through the wax, and you can get cut comb. And if I ever get out of beekeeping, I could just make these into ukuleles. and I could sing a few songs and maybe make a few dollars that way. Anyway, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.